Check. Testing.
Alright.
Yep.
You're on?
Right. Just say we had some technical.
Sorry about that, folks. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but welcome to episode 10 of season 2 of Fitness Focus with Chau, Hybrid's newest podcast where we talk everything fitness. And with us we have, let me see if I can get this right, IFBB is professional bodybuilder and a whole other stuff. Dexter, welcome Dexter. How you doing?
Good, I'm good.
Excellent. Well, you have an incredible story, but let's start from the beginning. What about you? What was the start?
Well, I started, I'll say me from a twin brother because we were having about maybe 12, 13.
Right.
And that was our go-to, our belief that we would use stress relief in entertainment. It was always embedded in me from age. Yeah. I grew up, I played football, I coached at a very young age. I coached a local team at the 17, and they made it into Martin Secondary. Went on, I played football at level, football abroad also. And yeah, that's how it basically started. So it has all part of me from a very young. That gap between now is take us a long time to go. So I'll stop right there.
Just about an hour to fill that gap, right? So you said football, and in fact, let me just let you go into the list of all the sports that you played.
Right.
Before you got into, well, I wouldn't say before you got into physique, because I know you did bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding, yes.
And now you just started back. So before this most recent foray, what did you participate in?
It would have been football, then transition into bodybuilding. While I started to do bodybuilding, I started to do triathlon training. And from triathlon training, I went into powerlifting, then into bodybuilding full. From bodybuilding full, I started up my own running club, one-a-week running club, and I went into marathon running.
Right.
And then found the real calling and the passion late in my 40s in men's physique. Yeah.
So, you know Jason Gooding?
Yes, I know Jason well. Yeah, I know Jason well.
I work with him, you know.
Yeah. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Very good guy. So, you actually, as you said, you recently found your calling, your real calling in your late 40s.
Yeah.
Getting right back into bodybuilding, where in particular you focus on men's physique.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So tell us what called you into it, because I got some stuff on your My Journey video. Right.
Off of my website. Yeah.
But I want to hear it again, and for the guests to hear it also. What got you back into?
I always had this. I always had this pet peeve for really preserving life. My dad died at a young age, at the age of 54, 55, and it could have been avoided. And I always had this pet peeve of creating the ideal physique, both physically endowed and also health-wise.
Right.
And I created this formula. It took me 14 years. But to create this formula that I now administer at Dextersimon.com as a transformation expert, I had to go through it myself.
Right.
So I went through the running, I went through the lift powerlifting, I went through the bodybuilding, I went through the dieting different, for myself to see how does the human body morph and what is really required. What can we accomplish in different sporting bodies? What can we accomplish at different ages? What can we accomplish with different timelines and starting from different places? And this took me 14 years to develop that, to go through trial and error. And it culminated in me running the Boston Marathon when I was 46. And during the Boston Marathon, that was my 9th international marathon.
Right.
I decided that was my last. It's time to do something different. And my massage therapist told me, he said, Dexter, why don't you go back on stage and give them young boys some help? And it started with a bet.
Yeah.
Basically, it started with a bet. So I had 8 weeks after Boston Marathon to prepare for men's physique show in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's what I did. But it was I realized it was part and parcel of the connectivity of my journey, because that got me into utilizing all the data that I've collected now to transfer into making humans healthier and giving them a better life.
Right,
Yeah?
right.
And that's basically where it started at the age of 47.
47.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to think, you know, it's too late to start. Now, granted, Dexter wasn't starting from scratch.
No.
But for those who know, and just yesterday during our podcast, we were talking with Candice about the kind of sacrifices you need to make and stuff to get into any level of bodybuilding. From women, that's straight from physique, straight up to bodybuilding, straight up to bodybuilding, and for men, that's physique, straight up to bodybuilding, right? Sorry about this, but it's, even though Dexter was in fact involved in fitness in various levels, that doesn't mean that his journey through bodybuilding would have been an easy one. It is a definite challenge, even to those of us who are already in the fitness world. So starting at 47 or starting back at 47 is definitely something that we need to take note of and need to commend you for.
You know? It's a holistic approach to it, and the clientele that I have, it's vast. I have thousands and thousands of clients, and in the last 3 years and about 8 months, I've done 3,700 transformations from about 14 different countries all over the world.
Right.
And this is where my experience and my data collection came together, utilizing what I did to myself at that age, and showing others that it is possible at any age. I have people in their 60s and their 70s changing their life, healthy, looking good, feeling confident, and it is possible. But you just have to understand that I have a saying, you have to pay the piper. These things don't just come like that. You have to give. A lot of people feel that they could live vicariously, they could eat what they want, party, don't sleep, don't hydrate, and look good. They're always complaining that I'm not comfortable in the clothes, I'm not feeling good, but they're not doing the things that are required to get them there. You have to have that balance.
Right.
How do you get that balance?
So, what I've seen, even amongst my own clients, is a lot of regression.
Yes.
How do you buffer against that regression in terms of making sure that your clients, now that you've given them a path, they stay on that path? Education,
knowledge. So I'm a big advocate of that. I would say for the first, my transformation module is a 12-week transformation. Before you even start, you have probably about 3 or 4 days of just information gathering, knowledge from the offerings that I have. You have to prepare yourself to start with me, because it comes with a certain understanding. All the things that people thought they knew before, I tell my clients, clear their mind.
Right.
Clear their mind. And I have clients from all walks of life, from top straight to bottom.
Right.
You understand? Clear mind and get ready to receive information that will change your life. So I strengthen, I reinforce, I arm my clients with knowledge so that they understand why they have not been able to be at their best.
Right.
The things that they have been doing are not doing. So the continuity is easy, and I have something called a maintenance group. So when you finish with me, you're not left alone.
Right.
You're not left alone. And this group is a community of people. So I've formed a community of people like-minded with the same goals, wanting to stay healthy, wanting to look physically good and feel confident going forward. So that's important. That's important because a lot of people do a lot of weight loss programs and they train with people and they feel motivated. And that's the next thing. Motivation is not the determining factor. You have to be driven because on any given day your motivation could be higher, but you have to have a drive and a why.
Another guest of ours who also competes in women's physique, and she's also a contributor to our magazine, Fiona. She would always say it's not about motivation, it's about discipline.
Yes.
It's about maintaining that discipline throughout, because then you're not going to feel motivated all the time.
Well,
you're not going to feel motivated.
If I want to add to that, further to that, because discipline comes with understanding why you're doing something.
Yeah.
You have to have a strong why. So if you get up in the morning, you don't have a strong enough reason to get out of your bed. Discipline or motivation can't help you.
Yeah, that's actually what I tend to tell my clients, I was just mentioning this yesterday, and I'll mention it again today. I was doing a consultation with a client, and what we got into was finding out her why.
Yeah.
What is your why?
What is your why?
You know, and that is.
And rehearse that. Say it to yourself every day. Make it be the forefront of your thoughts and your actions. It's important. Yeah.
So, again, I'm drawing from your YouTube video here.
Yeah.
You said that when you started back at 47, you started also to work not just training yourself, but also with Lawrence Marshall.
Yes.
Now, Lawrence is somebody, we actually did a tribute to Lawrence in our magazine. And based on every single person who has ever spoken about him, he was, they call him the gentle beast, not as opposed to the gentle giant, because he was actually a giant of a man, but also a giant of a warm personality.
Yes.
So tell us what it was like
and knowledge base.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I could say unequivocally that the reason I am so disciplined, so strong, so confident, and attributes that I have developed over the years was largely because of Lawrence Marshall.
Right.
Yeah, and I could say that without a doubt. He was the single largest contributor to my development in my life. And I owe a lot to him. He is the one who taught me how to find strength out of situations that people would not normally crumble from. He taught me how to mold your mind to be something different and gather a dream and go after it relentlessly. You know what I mean? And he was my mentor, and he was my coach, and the only coach. I strongly believe, and I'm an advocate of this, that is the only person who can coach me.
Right.
Because I need to be coached by somebody who has been there and lived the life.
Right.
Not people who talk.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. I mean, when you have gotten into the training life, you don't let any and everybody train you, because you have your own knowledge base, and you want to make sure that this person who's going to train you is not some quack. You want to make sure that this person actually knows what they're doing, understands more than just knowledge, but has a deeper understanding.
Well, I also believe that all trainers, and I'm saying this with it, all trainers need to lead by example.
Right.
You cannot physically, mentally, or otherwise ask somebody to do things if you are not doing it at that point. Not did it before, but doing it now, looking the way, acting the part, living the life. I think it is being very hypocritical.
Yeah.
And that's a problem I have with trainers, because they're asking people to do things that they can't do themselves or refuse to do repeatedly, but yet they want people to be disciplined.
Right.
You understand?
No, I agree with you.
And I'll go out hard saying that. And I'll call out all the trainers for that, because it is a missing link in the motivation of people. Because people get demotivated when they see somebody asking you to do something and they're not looking the part, or they're not doing it. They go back after and they say, in their mind, but wait now, this man or woman want me to do this, and look how he looking, or look how she looking, look what he eating, and look what he asking me to, you understand?
Yeah, I understand completely. I know, like I myself have given up alcohol.
Right.
So that is something I don't tell people you have to give up alcohol.
No,
I use myself
you don't need to.
As an example, because of course it's something that should at least be limited. Not
correct. Correct. It's about balance. It's about, on my maintenance plan.
Correct.
On my maintenance plan and community, I teach my clients how to live, how to eat what they want, drink what they want, but there's times in which to do it. There's a format in which to do it.
Right.
And there is, I say, you have to pay the piper before. You can't be eating and drinking and not exercising. So there are equivalents. There are things that you must do or do before or after to make sure that you retrieve, that you pull back that balance. And that's another thing that we don't have, that connection to how do we live, enjoy everything, stay healthy, and keep that cycle going.
Yep.
It has to have some sort of structure.
Correct.
You understand?
Yeah. We're gonna move on to another topic. While we're talking about that, let's take a look at, we have a video of you actually on stage.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Which one is this? This is from which show?
Not even 100% sure. But
You can see from it?
yeah, it will come up a little delayed here.
Yeah, that's right.
So throughout your journey, you got into, of course, training people. There's two real questions I want to ask about training.
That was in
people.
Dubai.
It
Yeah,
was
that
in
was
Dubai?
in Dubai in 1st of March, yeah.
Right.
This year.
How did you place?
5th, yeah, top 5 it's pretty tough.
Top 5
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that-
top 5
for
is
those
where you
who
get
don't
points.
know,
Yeah.
Top 5 is actually really excellent.
Yeah,
In an
top-
international competition, down here the pool is small, so
Yeah.
you could come 5th out of 5.
Yes.
Literally.
And it
across there,
happens, and
5th
men
out
don't say
of-
nothing.
Yeah.
It was
there's
5th out of 18,
15.
5th out of 18
Yeah.
professionals.
So 5th is actually damn good,
Yeah,
especially
but that's
coming
where
out
the
of
money
pandemic.
is.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
top 5 is where the
yeah.
money is.
Yeah.
It's only top 5 get money. You understand? So that's your
Yeah.
fight to be in. You
We
know?
were going into training, and well, I don't even know if I should ask this question because they kind of covered it already, but I'll ask anyway. What got you into training? What made you say, you know what, I have been living a particular fit lifestyle and I want to share it?
But like I said, mainly, and I will expand on it, mainly the death of my dad. And understanding that as human beings, as parents, as individuals, we have a larger responsibility than ourselves. A lot of people think it's just about you, it's about us. It's not only, it's about your legacy, it's about your children, it's about your family, because when we do wrong things, we don't only hurt ourselves,
Yeah.
we hurt others. And if you think of that holistically, I mean, why should I be exposed to being without a dad at the age of 12 when my father could have made better choices?
Right.
You understand? And this was one of the major components that got me into gathering my information to be able to fuse the physical element with the health element and the knowledge and create this website, dextersimon.com, to start to transform people. While doing that, I said I must be an advocate for what I am giving people or telling people to do by living the life. Hence the reason I started to actually go more into the men's physique.
Right.
So my first 2 shows, I was dead last. Dead last. The first show I remember, 8 weeks, come on.
Yeah.
What you could do in 8 weeks? You understand? So it started off as a bet, but then I saw it as a direction that God sent me in to use this as a tool, use myself as an example of growth. You understand? How a consistency and discipline. So I did 27 shows before I got my pro card. I'm the only bodybuilder in North and South America, probably parts of the world, that have done 50 shows in the last 5 years. 50. 50
Right.
shows was a couple of weeks ago in
That's
Zimbabwe.
actually something I want to ask you
Yeah,
about.
50, yeah.
Let's
Because I was relentless.
Yeah.
Relentless with my passion. Relentless. You know, so
before we go into that 50 shows, because that's a big
That's
a
massive.
big topic,
Yeah.
too. But I want to know now. I am an advocate not necessarily for certification but for qualification. I always believe in whatever you do, you must be qualified, and that doesn't necessarily mean getting a certificate. It could actually just mean apprenticing under somebody and learning from them and then passing on that knowledge,
Yes.
right? The only thing about apprenticeship is you don't necessarily get a piece of paper showing what you learn. But what kind of certification or qualifications did you go through to get where you are? Apprenticeship, personal experience?
both, all. It
and-
must be, I am an advocate,
Right.
it must be all, because we have the theory, right? So I'm certified with NASAM, also a corrective exercise specialist, right? We must have that first theoretical part under your bag, then you go and do your own fact finding and get probably a mentorship.
Right.
You understand? After your mentorship, now you need to do all your gathering information that I did. If you are of that level, and pull it into something that is yours. You understand? So it's a process, and a lot of people miss some links. They either don't get certified, they don't have a mentor to learn from somebody. So the process is elongated, is dragged on. They never think of doing it for themselves. A lot of people figure working under some, like I tell the trainers, what sense does it make working for 4 or 5 gyms, hopping from gym to gym, training 1 or 2 people for an hour, when you could be in your own facility training 15 or 20 people in the same 1 hour?
Right.
You understand? So it's about monetizing it. I'm an
Yeah.
architect by profession, so I came out of a business module.
Right.
You understand?
Right,
I
of
came
course.
out of a business module. To come out of that to go into fitness, it must make sense that I must be able to match or make more income than I had. You understand? And to do that, you have to really go into the depth of how do we monetize, market, and get the best out of fitness. And there's about 14 different elements to get it. About 14. From social media, to management, to application, to your own facility, to endorsements, to sponsors, to clients. I have a whole module. Yeah.
Well, that actually, I think that is something that a lot of trainers miss, that business aspect of it.
Yeah, they miss it big time.
Because a lot of people get into this thing, you know, not all, I mean, a lot of people just get into it for the money, and all they have is a business aspect. And I'm not going to call names, but
True.
but
True.
there are a lot of people who also get into it also the same passion that you have, that I have, and whatever. I myself only got into the passion, and I did not, when I first got into it, I wasn't really focusing on monetizing. So a lot of people, a lot of trainers don't do that, and that is to their detriment, because it means either you need another job or you kind of just struggle through your career. So you see that business side of it. I think
if you're struggling, you wouldn't be able to help people because you have too much stress. You moving with a weight. Success brings fuel success.
Correct.
You understand? And you want to have that smile and that successful look. You understand? To be able to articulate and to energize people. But if you're stressed, you understand? How can you? You come to a job stressed and you are the one to deliver happiness to people. You can't. So that module has to be investigated, you know, and get into things like open our gym and a supplement store I have, and you have to be able to monetize it. You understand?
So what we're going to do now, before we get back to the 50 shows, because that, I'm not sure how long it'll take to talk about it, but I think it's actually impressive. So what we're going to do is take a little word from our sponsors, and then we'll get back.
No problem.
Right?
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? I would say recently, as I've gotten into fitness, especially in the Caribbean.
Have I been a victim of body shaming? Yes, I have.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? Definitely yes.
I have been a victim of body shaming.
I have been a victim of body shaming, especially when I was pregnant.
Do pregnant women face body shaming or other types of ignorance?
Yes, I have been a victim of body shaming.
I have been a victim of body shaming.
Yeah, I've been a victim of body shaming quite often.
Interesting thing about body shaming is it doesn't take any one form.
I have been a victim of body shaming throughout my life, really.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? Yes.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? I would say recently, as I've gotten into fitness, especially in the Caribbean.
Have I been a victim of body shaming?
Welcome back, welcome back. We're back here with Dexter Simon. Before we start back, I would like to shout out a few people who commented and whatever. Brendan Castaneda. Naomi Wilson said she's listening, and Shea Best said the legend Dexter Simon. Thanks guys for joining. So we can get back here to the 50 shows.
50 shows.
You were actually last I saw on that video, which was a few years ago still. I know you had recorded that video a few years ago, but you were on track for a Guinness Book of Records, world record for the most number of shows in a particular period of time.
Yes. yes.
And I didn't follow up on it. So I'm following up. I said I'm deliberately not going to follow up on it so I can ask you about it here today.
We were on track for it, 36 shows in 36 months.
Right.
But we made contact with Guinness Book of Records, and they said that they do not really acknowledge shows that are like bodybuilding shows and stuff like that. That's subjective. So that was the end of that, basically. But we continued. We continued after that.
So you do have a record, it's just not recognized.
It's not recognized, yeah, because 36 shows in 36 months.
Yeah.
And to do that, I had to keep on the heels of the months and the shows. Some months I had to do 2 shows.
Right.
You understand? To keep it up.
Yeah,
to keep it up.
But 50 shows in 5 years is still impressive. Though.
Yeah, that's
especially
it's a lot of
considering
work.
2 of those years.
Well, it's 7 years, so 2 of those years. So it's 7 years. 2 of those years were COVID, so it's 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, but that's 50 shows in 60 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you constantly, I dieted for 2 years and 3 months without taking a cheat meal to get my pro card. Took me 27 shows. 2 years and 3 months.
That is actually incredible.
Without one cheat meal.
That's incredible. The discipline, the mindset that is required to push that hard for that long. You know, most professional athletes in any sport actually don't do that. There's this thing called periodization. I've spoken about it before.
Yes.
And a lot of athletes, they take 2 things into consideration. Their an annual tournament and an every 4 years tournament. So you find a lot of athletes, they may have tournaments they play every year, and then they're focusing on for football World Cup, which is every 4 years,
Olympics 3
or
years,
for other athletes Olympics, which is every 4 years. So every 4, so basically every show outside of that is seen as a gauge to moving towards a particular show, and then every show every year is seen as a gauge moving towards the event, you know. But for you to just go constantly,
well, I had a goal. So my mission was not just competing, but my mission was racking up enough awareness, enough discipline, enough people understanding that with a different level application and discipline you can succeed.
Right.
And that it takes a lot of time to get people's attention. You can't just do it in 2 shows or 5 shows or 1 year. Because the norm is people perform at a high level for a short space of time and fall off. So the expectation for somebody to go out really hard and be impressive and then dwindle off and just disappear was there. But I am here still, and I was there to show them that that was not the case. Dexter Simon is something different and something special. Different.
Well, everybody who knows you or knows of you knows that you're something different and something special. That's so.
But I know that.
You're living the life.
Yeah.
You know, you're living the life. Now, as a trainer, what is the general approach that you take when guiding clients through exercise and through diet? What's you know? So
it's three parts, and I always educate. So firstly is education. So when people come to me and they tell me that they eat well, I'm healthy. You know, I basically, in my mind, I laugh because a lot of people, 99.9% of the human race does not know what healthy eating is. Kid you not, right? So I educate people firstly. And then my approach is a 3-part approach. You must have cardiovascular activity, you must have a restrictive diet, and you must have resistance training. Those 3 components will close that circle and enable you to progress and develop. Right? With any one of those components missing, trust me, you're spinning top in mud. Anyone, and I can tell that to anybody.
Yeah, well, I know. Again, other athletes, there's definitely all of that. Like, I'll even tell marathon runners or long distance runners or even mid distance runners, a lot of people don't understand, for the role, they don't understand, the role of strength training.
Yes.
for running a marathon.
Yeah.
Because they look at marathon runners as these skinny people and they think all they do is run. But that also, marathon doesn't, running a marathon, 26.2 miles doesn't just require cardiovascular endurance, it
Correct.
requires muscular endurance.
Yeah.
And strength training is one way to push that muscular endurance. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the heaviest weight. Once you're doing some kind of resistance, you are pushing that muscular endurance boundaries. So little things like that people don't understand how they tie in.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
that's important. We have a adult running club, and we also have a youth academy. And again, the success of our running clubs and our athletes are based on the holistic approach. They must have a good, proper diet, efficient diet, proper nutritional and supplemental support. They must do strength training, right? And all the other areas that surround it, cardiovascular activity support and cross training also.
Right.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
Cool. So the thing about all of this to me, and I'm gonna just switch gears real
That's okay.
sudden
That's
on this,
okay.
you know,
That's okay.
you're gonna hear some wheels grinding.
That's
and
okay. That's okay. Let them grind.
But with all of this, you know, we're talking about you training people, training multiple people. We're talking about you competing constantly. Just March, you had a show which we you know.
I had a show 2 weeks ago in St. Martin.
You had a show 2 weeks ago in St. Martin. With all of this, you're still a family man.
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, because that's my why.
Yeah.
My kids. I have 2 kids. And
As you said,
that's my why.
They should not have to wonder about why daddy isn't here at 12 years old.
They exactly. And they have been subjected to a different sort of upbringing with regards to me being around, because I travel a lot every month. But over the years it has slowed down, and it has they actually are now able to see and live and get the fruits of my hard labor. And I would explain to them along the way, Daddy's doing this for a reason. You understand? For you all to have a better life, for you to be happier, and they have it now. You understand? So it's a learning lesson, it's a learning curve, and this is something that parents need to take as a giveaway too. That we need to live by example, to show your kids that mommy or daddy could sacrifice. You could sacrifice for 12 weeks to get a transformation. You could sacrifice for 6 months to change your body into a healthier version. And show your kids, show your friends, show people. You understand? So they can see that at the end of the day, the result comes from something tangible.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, my son is going to travel for a national swim team on Wednesday. And all of that came from that, from just looking at daddy example.
That's actually something I wanted to talk about afterwards. But I want to also find out the balance through it all. As you said, you travel every month and whatever. So I know that what some people do is this. If they know that they're not going to be around for a particular period of time, they make sure to maximize the time that they have, go out with their family and all that stuff. So what is your approach to finding that balance to make sure that at no point can they say daddy was not there for me?
Well, fortunately for me, for the last 2 years and something that we were stricken by COVID. So going out a lot was not an option. However, we turned that into family time, having dinners and movie nights and things like that. I will go to events with my son. He will have, so I created actually for my son in particular, my daughter is into ballet and gymnastics, but with my son, who has a very active swim life, I actually turned his competitions into something for us to look forward to. So he will earmark competitions and we will go to compete together. I will go and watch him and support him. And so that is now the vacation, as it were. You understand? So and of course they will get to go places and stuff in between. Yeah. And and like this, there's some trips coming up just now. So they're gonna like this.
That's nice. That's nice. So you ever carried him on a trip with you to
competition? They went to about 4 or 5 shows with me already abroad.
What are they backstage when the crowd cheering? Go, daddy!
They were in the crowd. I was very vocal too. Very vocal. So they got to see me compete quite a few times. Right, nice.
Quite a few times. And there is something that I think to be said for that, but I want to hear it from you first. Family support, where do you think it fits in? I'll say family primarily, but family and friends also. Where do you think it fits in to your success or to anybody's success?
Critical is critical. It has been critical for me, and I will start with my kids. Understanding and not putting that pressure on daddy, as it were. Understanding that daddy has to take time out, because I train a lot. When I'm competing for a show, I train 3 to 4 times a day.
Right.
You understand? And so that is basically deal with my clients, train, sleep. Deal with my clients, train, sleep. I still do architecture for one, so the time for them is limited. But what I made sure and do was to get them occupied in something that will fill their time too. So my son, who's an avid swimmer, when I'm training and to sleep, he's doing the same thing. You understand? He's swimming and he going and sleep. So and but family definitely with my children and my twin brother. My twin brother has been my support. He trains with me, and he's the one who helps me with that mindset. Keeping ahead of the curve and pushing me and stuff. It was Lawrence before, and then Lawrence passed.
Right.
And then my twin brother came in and helped. But family, critical, because the stress levels that you can have, and people often realize that mostly stress comes from within, not outside, from within your circles. Outside, you don't really take down, it don't matter. It comes from the people that matter. That's the ones who you will take on. That's the ones you will study. That's the ones who will affect you. So if you have a stress-free life and your family, understand you will be able to express yourself better.
Yeah, it's about surrounding yourself with the people who can see and support your vision.
Support you, understand your vision, and support it.
Right.
And support it genuinely.
Not
skin teeth support. Right?
No jealousy and
correct.
And bad mind, as we say, and that kind of people will just genuinely be happy.
Genuinely be there for you,
So, now, you said your son got into swimming on his own and your daughter does ballet and gymnastics. So what is your approach to supporting a fit lifestyle, a fit and healthy, because it's, that nutrition and sleep are important. And people associate fitness with just the the exercise part of it. But you have to include the overall health. Right?
It has to be a holistic
what is your approach to supporting a fit and healthy lifestyle with your children?
It has to be holistic. So the things that I would have taught my children from an early age is to achieve, you must sacrifice. You must give to get. You can't be going to bed 1 o'clock in the morning to get up to swim at 4:30 and expect to be successful. Have to give something. You have to put on the PS5. You have to come off the iPad and go in bed at 9 o'clock.
Right.
You understand, to be able to, and these are some of the values. I made them understand that I use like a 100-point check. If you do 99% of the things right, just at 1% each. So you get up in the morning, you make your bed, you eat your breakfast on time, you take your vitamins, you stretch, you do your homework on time. All of these one singular points, and you add them together, you'll get the success. And that has been the lesson with me and my kids. You understand? Make sure and do every little isolated thing, not one big thing. That you don't want it to be great in school alone.
Right.
You understand? But I want 1% of everything, and make sure and understand as that put together will allow you to progress faster and better than the rest.
Cool. So I want to talk about, I think, the last thing before we move on to the last segment.
Yes.
I want to talk about the sports that your children involved in. You said your daughter is in ballet and gymnastics. How old is she?
10.
And your son is swimming.
He's 40.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I saw a clip or a picture of you was it an open water race?
Yes, he did an open water race recently, which he said he will never do again. But but he's a sprinter, and his coach Edward Tubro, so he's a great coach, is an advocate, which is correct. Of if you want to master short distances, you must be able to go long. To get the aerobic depth. So he put him into this cross harbor thing, which was from Carnage to an island or the Monas or some one of those islands and come back. They started out there and they came in. It took like 40-something minutes. And he came out to the water and he said, "Daddy, never me again." But he did improve.
Right.
He did improve. Whether it be mentally or physically, he did improve.
I actually also met a sprinter, 100 to 200 meter running, not swimming, who she started to do 5Ks to help, same thing, to help with the aerobic depth, to help her with
the volume and the aerobic depth.
Yeah.
Helps with your anaerobic depth.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go into the last segment, we have another comment from David Felix. "Hey Dexter, keep up the excellent work." All right. And from here, we want to go into a little quick question and answer segment that we came up with that we like to do with our guests at the end of every episode.
This is the fun part.
This is the fun part. It's something that we affectionately call the last rep. All right. As I said, it's just 10 quick questions. You ready for it, right? Yeah, cool, no problem. You know, a lot of people say that and they stumble, you know. A lot of people and they stumble.
I might pause, but I ain't gonna stumble. I might pause and gather my thoughts, but I ain't gonna stumble.
All right, first question. Now, this could be a hard one considering everything you just told me. But then again, you know, you did talk about balance, so you might have an answer for this. Favorite junk food?
Pizza.
Right, you see, well, at least you had an answer for that, you know?
Pizza all the way. Pizza is the first go-to.
Squats or deadlifts?
Squats.
Legs or chest?
Legs.
What is, like, if you're feeling kind of down, if you are feeling, you know, you need a pick-me-up, what is your one go-to exercise?
Cardio.
Actually, for those who don't know, there's something called a runner's high. It has to do with
releasing endorphins and stuff. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I go to cardio.
Now, if there were one person in the world that you could either choose to be trained by or to train with, now I know that Lawrence Marshall was a dream, but you know you've already trained with it. So moving forward, there's one person that you can either train with as a partner or be trained by. Who would that fantasy trainer or workout partner be?
Dimitri Roberts. Yeah, he's the #1 men's physique in the world and a good friend of mine. He's a young guy that he trains himself. He's actually under a lot of pressure on my pause raise because he's a Ukrainian and he had to leave his family behind in Ukraine and stuff and so he's preparing for Arnold's right now, but he's 20 pro shows, 20 wins.
Look at that. Now that is actually a hell of an impressive record. Because I mean there are people who will stay within. I mean, I'm sure people have heard of Kai Green and gosh, he had a rival. I can't remember his name right now. Phil Heath. Yeah, Phil Heath. And the two of them, you know, back and forth, first, second. Yeah. So to get 20 out of 20 is
crazy.
Absolutely incredible.
So he's the #1 open men's physique in the world, and I'm the #1 masters.
Right.
So masters over 40. I compete with all the young boys. When you turn pro, you have to.
You have to.
They have no height class or weight or anything again.
Right.
So pro, everybody height, weight.
Favorite workout music?
David Goggins podcast, not music. David Goggins. I will go to David Goggins definitely.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like music because music has too many highs and lows for me.
Okay.
I don't like music for that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I like that get into my head with motivational stuff.
Right. Yeah, well, I can actually see that. I'm a music lover myself, you know.
But you ever train the music and like a Marshall and he's there, the vibe real pumping and then it come down to a slow chorus and then you're in a high rep situation and then you're like, oh shit. You understand? Damn. You know what I mean? I get messed up with music too much times already. You understand? Me and music, we kind of...
Fair enough. Yeah. So we asked you about your exercise. But in a general sense, do you prefer cardio or weights?
In a general sense, I would say weights.
Right.
Yeah, in a general sense, definitely. I like the feeling. I like that manly feeling you get after. Yeah.
I know the feeling. So you've been through football, bodybuilding, various categories, or just physique?
Bodybuilding, open, and men's physique.
Right.
Yeah. Because when I started bodybuilder, middle class.
Distance running, that kind of
Distance
stuff. What is your
yes.
favorite sport to play?
To play, you wouldn't believe this.
What?
Table tennis.
Man, I used to compete in table tennis. I fully well believe it. I used to compete in that.
Table tennis is my favorite sport to play. Yeah. That's crazy hook on that.
Yeah,
crazy hook
I
on
used
that.
to compete in it, and I'm actually a certified umpire.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well, I can afraid to buy a table tennis board because I know it could distract me from my bodybuilding because I love it so much.
Yeah. It's an enjoyable
it's
sport
enjoyable.
for real.
Yeah.
Protein supplements or diets?
Both. They both go hand in hand. They both go
Fair
hand in hand.
enough.
With knowledge, you have to understand that a macro and a micro must be placed together.
Right.
Yeah.
So, final question. Biggest question, deepest question, most important question. You're ready?
I think
sure?
so.
You're sure?
I think I'm ready.
TV or cinema?
TV boy.
Hey, the man was actually
TV
ready.
boy. TV. You wouldn't believe how many TVs I have. I don't want to say it. And the sizes, you don't even want to know.
Well, you must have something to do in your downtime. It's training 4 times a day, is eat, is sleep, is training other people, is being a husband and a father, is
Yeah, no, and that's my go-to because that's my relax. You know, Netflix and stuff, that's my go-to.
Right.
And I have a sort of routine in the afternoon to wind down. You know, from training, you know, I get my dinner and I go in my space and I sit and I watch my Netflix and wind down.
Right.
It's daddy time. It's either fall in with me or fall out and leave me alone. You understand? That's daddy time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm a TV lover. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, I must say it has been lots of fun
It
having
was.
a little
It
chat
has
with
been.
you.
It has been a lot of fun.
You know, I enjoyed your insights. And thanks for indulging us in our little fun time at the end there.
It was fun. It was fun.
All right.
You didn't catch me off guard with any, but so that was good.
For real. A lot of people stole the last question, you know. Yeah, man, already. Cool boy, that question hard. You know, they stole it completely. You know. All right, once again to Brandon Castaneda, Naomi Wilson, Shea Best, Raymond Sam, sorry I did not say hello to you earlier. He said, boom, coach. That's one of your...
So he's a marathon runner.
And David Felix, thanks for not just tuning in, for commenting, for everybody who tuned in, for everybody who's going to watch this on our YouTube channel after. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get continuous updates about any time we have a new podcast or any new content that you may be interested in. Thanks again for viewing. Thanks again
thanks
to
for having me.
Dexter
It was really
Simon.
fun and inspirational, and you know, it's really needed for you to keep doing this to get the word out there.
Yay.
Health and fitness.
That's the
Appreciate
plan.
it.
That's the
Appreciate
plan.
it.
All right, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks again. All right, folks. Next week we will be having another bodybuilder, female bodybuilder. Ooh, Dee Morang, very interesting and informative. It definitely was. Thanks, Mr. Morang, for joining. So we have Kashma Maraj joining us next week.
That's another good one.
Yeah, she's another good one. Look, the man here says it.
Yeah.
So you guys be sure to tune in next week, Sunday. We'll see you then. Catch you on the flip side.